The certification tests really ask you to take a broad overview of the platform and understand how the pieces and the capabilities provided on the platform can be used to fit together in order to deliver a solution for a customer.
Certification proves that an engineer not only has that real-world experience, but also has the technical knowledge to be able to be certified and to operate at the level that is required.
What certification offers that experience doesn't is peace of mind. I'm not only talking about self-confidence, but also for our customers. Having us certified working on their projects really gives them peace of mind that they're working with a partner who really knows what they're doing.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our day 6 of 30 Days of Cloud. I will introduce myself briefly. My name is Alexander. I am a GDSC lead at Conestoga College, Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Welcome to day 6, networking and security with Google Cloud. Cool. As we start, I will just give you a brief overview of our campaign. So 30 Days of Cloud is a GDSC community event introduced by GDSC leads and core teams from 16 different universities and colleges across North America. We are here to help you learn Google Cloud. These are some important links, and I will just bring Daniel over to introduce you to them.
Well, howdy from Houston, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of our 30 Days of Cloud here in North America. Really excited for y'all to be joining us, whether it's your first time, second time, third time. Heck, maybe you've joined us each and every day. We are grateful for you to be here, and thank you so much for joining. Remember, this is open to everyone, so feel free to share with your friends. But what I'm going to be doing here is showing you how to gain access to our campaign subscription, which will give you access to this lab as well as an additional 30 days to this catalog. So on screen, what you'll see is a link, a bit.ly link, which will take us to this page, which you will see pulling up on screen now. What's amazing about this is that it's going to take you directly to this page, a tour of Google Cloud hands-on labs. And what we're going to do, all of us here together, is just go ahead and click Start Lab. Now, remember, make sure you're signed into your profile before clicking Start Lab, or else it will not allow you to continue. So go ahead and click your account, sign in, all of that good stuff, and then hit Start Lab. What we're going to do here is let this lab run for approximately 5 minutes. And then when we come back after me showing you a few other places and helpful links, we'll have our subscription activated. And from there, we can continue on with our learning journey together. So remember, make sure you're signed in. Make sure you click that Start Lab button. Make sure the countdown starts. And from there, join me on an exploration of some of these additional resources that we have built for you, or students have built for you. So first we have cloudcoach.dev. This is actually the main landing website for the 30 Day of Cloud initiative. You'll see on screen cloudcoach.dev. That's where we are currently. This is our landing page to where, if you have anyone in your friend circle or frenemy circle who may be interested in learning about Google Cloud, definitely recommend you share this with them. It's going to overview our entire, 30-day campaign, right? The 4 different quests we're going to be covering, as well as, a little bit more about the Google Developer Student Clubs, and which will help them connect with future events like this. So definitely make sure to come to this website, check it out. The other thing I'll mention to you here is if you are just joining us for the first time and you want to learn more about some of these other quests before enrolling, just scroll down and you can see all of the individual labs or topics that will be covered, right? Remember, this is going to be a platform which teaches you about these skills and then gives you an opportunity to practice them all for free. So yeah, definitely make sure to check out all of these quests. Highly recommend you complete all 4 of them. The other great thing about our code that we shared just a little bit ago is it's going to give you access to this platform for an additional 30 days. So if you're interested in learning, about something else in this catalog, you are more than welcome to learn about it, right? Interested in Firebase, Flutter, TensorFlow. There's a specific quest or lab that you can, go through. So please take advantage of the free 30 days. Moving back to Cloud Coach, there are a couple other things I just want to point out to you. There is, the register page, which if this is your first time joining us, please do migrate over to the registration page. Which what we're going to ask you to do is essentially create a public profile on our Cloud Skillshare website. And from there, show us your profile and let us know where you're going to be joining from. That way we can get you signed up for future events and maybe connect you with a local GDSC chapter. For more amazing content in the future. So go ahead, register. It only takes a couple seconds. And then from there, the other thing I want to show to y'all just briefly is the live stream tab. So what you'll see here is actually our live stream today. I won't press play, so we don't have that feedback loop. But if you want to join us for future events, you can always come here, view that YouTube video, engage in the chat if you're signed in as well. So this is a great resource for you to come and learn with us over the 30-day of Cloud. Now, there is also this yellow button called Community Space, and that'll take you to Kumo Space. Right. And what Kumo Space does is actually allows you to network with other attendees in real time via a virtual lobby or meeting space. What you'll see on screen is actually the initial onboarding to getting into our different lobbies. What's great about this is, once you click join, you'll have the option to join one of our 3 different lobbies. And we have mentors and coaches standing by in, lobby 1 to help answer your questions and help you get through any sort of trouble you're having with activating the campaign code or subscription model, getting through a particular portion of the lab that you're taking, right? We have coaches and mentors here for you. So join us at Kumo Space. And remember, you can find all of these links and resources on our website, cloudcoach.dev. So please, when you navigate to cloudcoach.dev, go ahead and bookmark it, right? It's going to have all of that amazing information for you in the future in case you forgot. Awesome. So that's an overview of our resources. Now let's go ahead and go back to our tour of Google Cloud Hands-On Lab. Make sure to hit End Lab, let that lab end completely, and then let's go ahead and move over to the right-hand portion of our screen where you'll see your account. From there, you should see that there is now a monthly subscription tab that is underneath your profile. If you don't see this, what I want you to do is click to go to your profile, right? And then what should happen is it should refresh and show, hey, your subscription has been activated, and now you have access to going back and enrolling in our new quest that we'll be embarking on here today. So now you have access to the platform. And that being said, I'm going to bring back Alexander to kind of continue with our regularly broadcasted schedule. I do want to just remind y'all, let us know if you're having difficulty gaining access to this campaign in the chat. Right. We're here to help, and you can always find us at Kumo Space as well. Thanks so much for letting me join y'all.
Perfect, Daniel. Thank you so much for sharing these important links. Great. I will just go over a few slides. So cool. Sorry. So if you're looking into building a career in any of these career paths that you see on the screen, you will benefit from this campaign as it doesn't require any previous experience in Google Cloud. Furthermore, it will provide you with a strong foundational experience through hands-on labs. Then going to the next slide. So this is just the general brief overview of different labs. Today, we will focus on networking and security in Google Cloud, specifically in VPC networks and control and access. Cool. I will, as Daniel said already, as you earn badges, you'll be able to share them with your LinkedIn network, on your resume. So show it to your potential employer and showcase your skills this way. And again, using the code that Daniel provided earlier, you will have free 30-day access to complete any of the labs with Google Cloud. And yeah, that's just a brief overview. Just thank you for coming to this session, and I will pass it to Kenna to, I will pass it to our guests from Focus 21. This is, and they will give you a brief overview of how they use Google Cloud in their company and why it is important to learn it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. It's nice to be back to Conestoga College virtually. We both actually graduated from Conestoga, and past completion, I founded a company called Focus 21 about 7 years ago, and now there's more than 60 people of us across the multiple continents coding away. And as Alexander and the team mentioned, cloud developer and DevOps engineers are still containing the most required job skills, not only for startups, but for medium and large size organizations. So I'm very happy to be here. I used to teach at Conestoga, so now it's our time to pass back to community. We use Google technology a lot, and today our topic is going to be focused on a startup use case. Many startups, first of all, I wanted to take a step back and really realize the potential of the cloud in general. If you think about it, with a modest computer, these days, you can start multi-million users software as a service or whatever your idea is right from your laptop. You don't need multiple servers. You don't need any of that. It's truly is powerful, and lots of our startup clients taking advantage of that. And when being startup, your initial budget and initial infrastructure is not as well funded as the medium and the large organization. So today we're going to cover how to build a production-ready infrastructure on the budget with some real-world examples that we did before. So I'll pass it on to our software architect, Roger. Roger, go ahead.
Thanks, Ilya. Like you said, good to be back. So I wanted to share some actual cloud infrastructure that we used for a real client that was fairly early, still somewhere around the research phase, with a really good idea, a little bit of technology developed already, and they wanted an MVP to show off. So they weren't going to have a lot of users at first, but they didn't want to really waste time on, temporary cloud infrastructure or anything. They wanted something that, even though it was an MVP, it could, scale up to potentially, thousands, millions of users. So these were really the requirements for the project. So eventually it needs to be able to handle a huge number of users, needs to be fast from US and Canada, needs to be practically free to run with very few users, needs to be low maintenance, and needs to be developed fast. So you may have seen a diagram like this before. It's used in lots of different fields to illustrate that you can have two of good, fast, and cheap, but you can't have all three. And that's true a lot of the times. Even the best laid plans of mice and men, things don't always work out, even when it seems like you're going to be able to achieve this trifecta. But for this project, and for lots of other projects in the cloud, we think we've achieved this trifecta. So how did we actually do this with our cloud infrastructure? So there were three main things. So we used serverless GCP services. We made use of the economy of scale, and we used fully managed, easy-to-use services. So I'll talk about what each one of these three things means in brief. First of all, what is serverless? It's something you may have heard before. Serverless doesn't actually mean you don't run on a server. It just means instead of running a server continuously, you're just running your code exactly when you need it. So it's not running all the time, it runs when you need it. And generally serverless services too are very easy to use. There's a lot of software going on in the background that makes it so that you can just send your code to these services and they just run in the case of your classical serverless services. And you don't have to worry about really cloud infrastructure that much. You pay for the exact computation time you use with these services. So as opposed to running continuously, you're paying for that server 24/7. If you use 600 milliseconds of computation time, you pay for 600 milliseconds of computation time. And because they're so easy to use, you save time on money and configuration. You save time and money on configuration and maintenance. And so we chose to use serverless services for our backend for this project. I'll talk about how exactly in a second here. So second point was economy of scale. So Google obviously has a massive infrastructure to run its own applications, and you can benefit from this. They basically pass the savings on to you since they have all this infrastructure that they're already running, they're already maintaining. They can really spread out those maintenance costs. So compared to a traditional data warehouse where you have your own IT people managing this, and you might even have custom software, and you've got all this hardware that you have to manage and you have to scale up yourself. Google manages all that for you and offers it to you in APIs. So you'd be crazy not to use it. And just like serverless, you pay for exactly what you use, and generally it stays fairly competitive. They're always cutting, cents off their services to see how low they can get it. The economy of scale is going to be especially obvious in how we serve our front end, but it's present in basically all cloud services. They all benefit from the economy of scale. So, okay, those are the two concepts I wanted to cover. What is our actual infrastructure here? So here it is. On our backend, we're using the services Cloud Endpoints, Cloud Run, Cloud Functions, and Cloud Firestore. And on our front end, we're using Cloud CDN and Cloud Storage. So I'll talk about how exactly we use these services from a high level now. So how does the backend work? Our backend code itself runs on Google Cloud Functions, which is your classic serverless cloud service. You send Google the code you want to run, and it figures out how to run that for you. And it scales up to millions of requests. And it's called Functions is a very appropriate name because basically instead of writing a server application, you write a function and it runs on the cloud. So the way we're using Google Cloud Endpoints is it proxies all requests from the API to the functions, and that's built on a Google Cloud Run backend, which is also serverless. And it can be configured to go from 0 to scale and back, and this is the important thing. So what does going from 0 to scale and back means? It means if no one's using your application, all those proxies shut all the way down, and you're paying basically nothing on that particular part of the infrastructure. But as people start using it, it scales up automatically. So this is the key piece of the infrastructure that let us really use this infrastructure for an MVP and also prepare it for production. And the backend uses Firestore as its database. It's a serverless database, so in this context, that means that you're not running on a visible VM instance or anything. Firestore is just a service that you can query, and Google manages how exactly that runs. So you're not dealing with a server. And this goes back to, using fully managed services as well. Firestore is fully managed, so they handle all the database maintenance for you. So it's also a NoSQL database, so we didn't have to deal with SQL migrations or anything like that. We just write JSON and read JSON from the database. So it's very fast to get up and running. So the front end, when we build our application, we upload it to Google Cloud Storage, and then we serve it through Google CDN. If you haven't used a CDN before, it's a content delivery network. Google has a huge global network that it can use to serve its websites anywhere. You can also leverage this. So it handles caching, it handles making sure that that can get to anywhere in the world very quickly, but it's already running. Google has it already running, so you only pay when people make requests through the CDN. It's not like you're running your own CDN server or anything. And so both these services benefit really well from the economy of scale, because clearly that CDN is already in place, so you don't pay a lot to run anything. And Google Cloud Storage, Google has a massive amount of storage available to them, and they have a lot of technology to manage that storage. So you're going to pay very little for Google Cloud Storage to host your application. So is it fast enough? One thing about this infrastructure is it scales to 0. So if you hit that application and no one else has used it, it's going to take a while to load. It's also, since we're serving it through a CDN serves static files. We're not running through a server. So in a lot of classical applications, you might render something server-side for the client and send that to them. And that way, when they load the page, it shows them something right away. And we're talking about milliseconds here, but there will be a short period of time where your application will show, and your JavaScript bundle isn't loaded yet. And in lots of modern applications, the JavaScript bundle generates the page for you, so you won't see anything. And it, milliseconds might not seem like a lot, but Amazon has done studies, and I don't have the numbers, but you lose a certain amount of revenue for lots of projects just with that perceived loading time. Can sort of break the user's concentration and have all different kinds of effects. So lots of clients will want it faster than that. So what can we do to mitigate this? So for the backend, it does scale to 0, but we can keep a single instance warm, so always ready to serve the application. And it will keep an instance always ready to go. So instead of scaling to 0, it'll scale to 1. The difference with running a VM is that it's throttled to 0% CPU use when not in use. So it's still cheaper than the cheapest VM option. For a front end, instead of what's called server-side rendering, we do static pre-rendering. So after we build our application, we take static snapshots of every page, and these generate HTML files. So we can serve those on first load and increase what's called the perceived loading time of our application. On the first load, for those first few milliseconds, you can't do anything, but it looks like the application is loading really, really fast. So some clients will be interested in that, but many don't care about those few extra milliseconds. So it's all a matter of figuring out what your client needs. But we've used this technology a lot. So what's our end result? So we have no configuration or maintenance required for our servers or databases. Our application is super low cost, as they just use it as an MVP. And when they're ready to scale up, it'll scale with very, very little additional work, and it'll still be very cost effective. So I actually have this infrastructure code ready for you on GitHub. This link here, I'll leave it on screen for a second. And it is a little bit advanced. So I'll say the this is based on a production application. The instructions are quite long. But if you want to see what a production application looks like, what's involved in it, what kind of technologies we use to set it up, how exactly we're using all these services, it is available for you. So it's just a small little messaging app that gets the message of the day from a database, and you can also post the message of the day to a database. I wanted to show this. This is a feature of endpoints. It reads from something called your Open API config, which is a really great technology, and builds this little interface for your API for you. It also integrates with Auth0, which we did use on this project, but I haven't included in my demo. But it is useful to mention. You can log in as a user with certain capabilities using this UI if your application uses Auth0, and you can make queries based on your permissions. So that is a very cool feature. And this also acts as a form of documentation for you. So I'll put my message as hello GDSC, execute that. It's probably running cold right now, so it might take a hot second here. And I'm not authorized, I'm signed out. I'll refresh the page here. Yeah. I left that running too long. All right, this should work this time. There we go. So the new message is hello GDSC, and it is now showing in our application. You may notice it's running a little bit faster now because it's running hot. So, and yeah, that's everything I wanted to show. Cloud functions timeout after 9 minutes. Is there a way to get around that if you want to run a VM for longer? So cloud endpoints, one of the reasons we go through cloud endpoints and not just to cloud functions is if we did have something that needed to run a little longer, we could route to that in endpoints as well. So we could have one particular API endpoint that ran on Google Cloud Run, or even Google Compute that could run for longer. So that's how you would do that. Any other questions?
Yeah, feel free to ask questions in the comments. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Roger, for great presentation and for the overview how Focus 21 uses Google Cloud. That's great. Cool. So
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
cool. Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. Ilya.
Thank you guys for having us. And we're going to hang out in the comment space if you have any additional questions. Otherwise, feel free to send us a question directly. Thank you for having us, Alexander.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Cool. Next, I will introduce Kenna. So, okay, cool. So Kenna is a technical lead at our college, and yeah, today she will guide you through the lab, and I will pass it to you, Kenna. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. That was indeed an awesome presentation, but let's see how you can do it practically, right? So let me just quickly share my screen, and I'll show you that how we can use, how we can create those virtual instances and everything, okay? So there you go. So you might already have, so there are two ways you can access this lab, okay? So you can go to Hey Student, or you can go to Daniel's code, which he has shown in the beginning of this video. So I'm using this Hey Student, and let's just see how we can just, let's just start the lab. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to copy the code, okay? And you need to go to networking and security in Google Cloud. So once you enroll it, you have to paste your code and just click I'm not robot. You just, okay, traffic lights. I hope it verifies. Okay. Bridges. And there is third one. Okay, done. All right, I'm in. So what you need to do, you are already, because you are already into networking and security Google Cloud, you need to go to our second lab, which is lab solution, networks and controlling access. But before I go ahead, I just want to give you a quick recap what we did on the first lab. So basically, this is what we did in the first lab. We created virtual machine instances in the different networks. We also explored the connectivity between this virtual machine from different networks. We created firewall rules, and so again we are going to do the same thing, but with the controlling different networks. Okay, so once you are into this lab, which is Google Cloud Computing Networking and Security Lab, you need to find network and controlling access. You can see lab intro and lab solution, but you have to click on VPC network controlling access. Once you are there, you can start your lab. Okay. Again, you have to prove that you are not a robot. I'm going to use my subscription. So if you have already used a link that Daniel has shared, yeah, you'll be like having a monthly subscription. And this is a dialog box. Whether you use his link or whether you use Hey Student, you'll be prompted with this dialog box. What you need to do, you need to copy this link. You can just directly open this into your browser, but I would suggest you open it into incognito window. Why? Because otherwise you might accidentally log in into your personal account, which you don't want it, because once you are, let me just do it side by side. Okay, just a second. All right. Okay. So once you start your lab, you have 1 hour. It won't take an hour, so relax. It would just take 30 minutes or something. But just to make sure that whenever you start, you have some time. Because what it does, because for this lab, you need some resources, and Google Cloud platform would just pin those resources for you for this lab. Okay. So once you are into this email ID, this is your temporary account. So that's why it would be great if you open into incognito window so you don't accidentally even use your personal account. So once you are there, you can use your credential, which is given by this lab. You can use your ID and password here. Click next. You're gonna accept it. All right, there you go. Just agree to this cloud platform terms and services. It's up to you if you want to receive this periodic emails or not, but because it's a temporary account, it won't matter. So agree and continue. Now, two things you need to make sure that you are not into your personal account, your account which is given by this cloud platform, and you need to make sure that you are in a right project, which you can just quickly verify it from here, GCP project ID. All right. So these are the two things that you have to make sure that you are into. All right. So let's see what we are going to cover this into a second lab. We are going to create web servers. We are going to define or create firewall rules. We are also going to create service accounts, and we are going to explore few roles and permission, which is related to network admin and security admin. So first thing we are going to do is create a server, but we can't directly create server. We need to create some instances, and then we are going to attach servers to it. So for that, this is typical UI that you would be seeing on Google Cloud Platform. You need to click on navigation menu. If you hover over it, it will show navigation menu. Then you need to go to compute engine. All right. So if you are using very frequently, I would suggest just pin it down. We are going to use frequently, so I'm going to pin it down. And you are also going to use networking, for this lab. So I'm also going to pin it down here. Okay. So in Compute Engine, you are going to create two virtual instances, which is blue and green. It's also in your, so these are the few steps I'm gonna skip because we already did it. Okay. And here we are starting. So we are creating two web servers. All right. For that, we are first going to create VM instances, which is, we are already into it. We are going to create instance by clicking on this create instance. All right. And it says we are going to name it blue. All right. What we are going to do now is we are going to create a tag, a network tag, which it would be in under, just go at the bottom and it would be under networking and into a networking tag. So first, why we are using, why we are doing this, because in the next step, we are going to use create a firewall rules. So how are we gonna tell your firewall rules that this particular virtual machine or this instance has to follow this rule by using this web networking tag? You can do it. Alternatively, you can do it from here, like this. This is what we are going to do in firewall rules, but you can also do it from here. But for this lab, we are going to create a network tag and let firewall rule tell this, let firewall rule know that this server has to follow the firewall rule. Okay, and the first virtual instance is ready. You also need to make sure that this is keep getting updated, because whatever you are doing here, it would update it. So once you are done, then you need to check your progress. Okay, so this is done. I'm gonna click it here, and there you go. You have your 15 points here. Okay, that's how you can just keep check on your progress. Next thing we are gonna do is create a green server. And again, as I told you that we can't just create server, we have to create instances. So I'm gonna create another instance, which is going to be green. Okay. And we are not gonna do anything here because we want to differentiate both the server. Okay. In next step. So I'm just gonna create it. Everything you're gonna keep it the same, like regions on everything would be the same. You don't have to touch it, and just create it. There you go. You have blue server and green server is getting ready. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please write it down in comments, and I'm gonna check my progress. Okay, this is updated. So yeah, it's good. Now we are going to create our server. So how we are going to create our server for blue and green? Via SSH. So basically this SSH lets you communicate to your virtual machine instance. I'm gonna click on that. Yes, I wanna connect to VM. All right, there you go. Now we're gonna just copy this command and paste it here. So this sudo apt-get install is basically lets you install any packages that you have. For in Google Cloud, we are having option for different web servers. Like we have Apache, we have Nginx, and with Nginx, we are having a light and a different version. Because we are not going to do any complex tasks, we are only using a light version. So once you paste it, you're gonna just hit the enter. There you go, it's installed. All right, let's check if it's installed. Yeah, it's installed, but what we're gonna do is we are going to open an editor and we are going to change the HTML index page of this server. Because we are going to have again a green server, we need to make it, we need to differentiate these two servers, right? So we are just going to change the heading for this server and we are going to say welcome to the blue server. All right. Control and all together. Then you press hit enter and Control and X to exit the editor. Okay. Now you have editor. Let's just see if you have the changes into the server. You're gonna copy this command, which is sudo nano and sorry, not that one, sorry. You're gonna copy the cat command. This, if we wanted to verify the changes, right? So we're gonna copy that one and let's check if we have it here. If you see, you are going to have this code and you're gonna check h1 header, which is this one. We have the changes here, right? Now we are going to exit this one and we are going to do exact same thing with the green server. So by SSH, we are going to connect to the green server, your green virtual machine instance. And again, we are going to install a server on this virtual machine instance as well. And it's done. Now let's change its HTML page by copying this command. Sorry, this one, I'm sorry. So there are different editors as well here, like there is Vim editor, there's a Nano editor, and we are using Nano editor for here. But basically what you need to do is here is just you need to change its index.html page to differentiate these two servers. Once you are here, you don't have to do it. You just have to use your down arrow and you have to go to your h1 tag. Okay. And once you are there, you're gonna do like welcome to the green server. Once you are done, just Control and O all together, then press Enter and Control and X to exit the editor. Now you have it. You're gonna copy this command, which is verify the change, and you're gonna paste it here. Or you can just write it down. Now let's see if we have it here. Yes, it's right there. So we have the changes into our green server. All right. Next, we are going to exit this one. All right. So we have completed task. So just check my progress. You can click on this one. All right, great. So next thing we are going to do is create a firewall rule, as I already mentioned in first step. We are going to create a firewall rule. So to create a firewall rule, again, you have to go to navigation menu and it would be under VPC network. And there you go. You have to click firewall. Once you're in firewall, you'll see there are different firewall rules which are default, like default allow ICMP internal, and these are by default firewall rules that you'll be able to see there. We can create a custom firewall rule. That's what we are going to do. By clicking on create firewall, once you are there, you are going to name it allow HTTP server, web server. So now this rule will only apply to blue server, and how we are going to do it is we are going to click on this target to a specified target. If you click on all instances in the network, then it would also apply to green and blue, whatever the instance you have over there. But we only want it to be applied to blue server. That's why we are going to use specified target text. Now, how it would identify which, because you can't use VM instances right name. So you're gonna use web server, which is a network tag that we already been given to the blue server. So that's how it would identify that, okay, this firewall rule would only apply to blue server. Once you are there, you need to also specify we are going to use all the sources IP ranges. So this /0 is basically like all the networks. Once you are there, typically this HTTP, it goes to TCP/8 port, and we are also creating a rule ICMP. This ICMP, SSH, all these rules was mentioned in last lab, so I'm not going into it. And let's just create it. All right, let's see if we have it here. Yeah, it's taking time. Yes, there we go. We are having this allow HTTP web server. Okay. And let's check my progress. Okay, this is done. Now, okay, so why we are creating test, next is to create a test VM. So we have two servers, but if we want to check how this firewall rule apply to this blue server and how green server would act without firewall rules. We are again going to create one more virtual machine, virtual instances, and we'll try to send data from this virtual machine instances to green server and blue server, and let's see how they would act. So to create virtual machine instance, we are going into compute engine and we are going into VM instances. It's very easy. You just my window is small, so I have to click on these three dots and then I'll be able to create instances. But otherwise you'd be able to see create instances somewhere here. So once you are there, just create instance. Okay. Now this is the one way you can do it. But if we go with the tab, we can lab. You can see this activate cloud shell. We are going to use that, and we'll see how command line gcloud command line can help us to create VM instances. Okay, you can continue it. While it's doing this, fun fact, you know that Google Cloud uses 900,000 servers to run on. All right, so this is done. What we are gonna do, we going to copy this command. Basically, it's the same thing that we could have done it here. It would just, this command is create cloud compute instance, create test VM, which is your name, virtual instance name. This is basically how powerful you want to be CPU. Like we are not doing any complex tasks. So this is like F1 micro we are using here. Subnet, you can do custom subnet as well, but we are using default here, and zone where it should be. Okay. There are different attributes you can define here, but yeah, then you press enter. Yes, you want to authorize it. Once it's create this virtual machine instance, you will be prompt with this one. All right, name test VM and all this internal IP and external IP assigned to it. Now let's see if we have it in here. So if you don't see it here, just hit refresh button and it would be here. There you go. And let's just check my progress again. Just as you see, this is keep getting updated. All right, we are almost there, 85. Now we have test VM. So as I was telling you that we need to see how green and blue server would act with and without firewall rules, and how we are gonna test it with the test VM. So first we need to connect to our test VM instance. Okay. Now we are going to use curl. So curl is basically a command to send any data to your internal or external IP. First, we are going to use, as you see, the test HTTP connectivity to Blue's internal IP, run the following command. So we are going to use internal IP address of Blue server, and we are going to send some data to Blue server from test VM. Okay, let's see if it works. It worked. There you go. Like, welcome to the Blue server. Now, next is to test HTTP connectivity to Green's internal IP address. We are going to use the same command. This is a green server, or green virtual machine instance. We are going to copy this internal IP address, and we are going to use curl c and IP address. There you go. It worked. Welcome to the green server. Now let's see if Blue's external IP works or not. Okay, so we are going to use external IP, and let's see if we can send the data to it. There you go. You can also send data to external IP because you have defined this default allow internal firewall rules, right? That's how it allows all the data to be sent to Blue server only. Now let's try if green external IP works with this command or not, like if we are able to send the data to green server or not. Again, we are going to use the same command like c3. It shouldn't work because what we did, we are only, if anything coming from a different server, like from any server. We are only sending data to a blue server. We are not sending any data to green server, right? So this shouldn't work. As you see, as expected, you are only able to HTTP access the external IP address of blue server, as allow HTTP web server only applies to VM instances with the web server tag. All right, so it's taking time. It's definitely not gonna work. So what you can do is you can control and see, or if you wanna wait, you can wait, but it would be only telling you that this wouldn't work. Like there is an issue with this. Yeah, failed to connect, connection timed out, right? Or you can, if you don't wanna wait, what you could have done is just Control C altogether. That's how you would exit from this command, or you can kill that command. So how we are going to like how if you want to create like if you want to delete it, or if you want to see the list of firewall rules and everything, how we gonna do it? We are going to explore the network and security admin roles, and that's where I'll introduce how we are going to do those commands, right? So Cloud IAM lets you authorize, you can text on specific. So there is a Cloud IAM, Identity Access Management. There are a few roles like network admin and security admin. In network admin, it lets you create, modify, delete networking resource, not firewall resources or any rules that you can do with security admin role. Okay, so let's see if we have the permission to delete or see the firewall rules here in the test VM. Okay, so if you wanna list all these firewall rules, you're gonna use this cloud compute firewall rules list. Hit enter, and if you have a permission, you'll be able to see it. And it looks like we don't have any permission. So let's just Control and C, and let's get it out. So command kill by keyboard interrupt. Now let's see if we could delete it. If we have the security admin permission, we don't have a network admin. So let's see if we have security admin. Let's click yes. You're gonna press yes. It won't delete it because you don't have enough permission. All right. So we don't have enough permission. So how are we gonna do it? So we are going to create service account here. So what is service account is basically it lets you, there are few accounts. You can do it with your account on as well, but then you have your credentials, you have to use it here. But if you don't want to do it, you can use service account. So Google Cloud has different service account, like service accounts that are managed by Google, service account that you can manage, like user managed service account, and that's what we are going to create here. So under I am an admin, it would be under, again, navigation menu. It would be under I am an admin. You need to find service account. Go to service account, and you are going to create service account. So these are Google managed by Google Cloud. So there are few resources that if you create a project that's handled by Google Cloud, and they create a service account on behalf of you, so you don't have to worry about that. So we are going to create a user managed service account. Okay, so service account name we are going to give is network admin. So it's really up to your requirement whether you want it to be like create a service account, or you want your account to attach to it. But we are creating here service account, then create and continue. Then we are going to select a role. For this role, because we wanted to see firewall rules, we are going to use network admin. Okay, that would be under cloud compute. Sorry, compute engine. It would be under compute engine. So there you go. And you're going to create select compute network admin. All right. So you have created the role. So there are different roles. It's like if you want that this service account to only change list the firewall rules, or if you want this service account to even delete the rules, there are different roles you can select it. Okay. Once you are here, you can hit done. Okay. And there you go. You have your service account here, which is a network admin. So with service account, because you are not using your account, usually your account has a password, right? So service account has a key. So you're gonna use the keys as by using these three dots here. You're gonna click it on that. Okay. This is it's basically your password you are using here. You're gonna hit on add key. Okay. Create a new key, and it is in a JSON form. So you're gonna create it, and it will be in your it will be saved on your local computer. Okay, so there we are. We are going to open the folder which it is saved in. So we are going to have this one, and we are going to rename it to credentials. You can give any name, but we have the specific command that we are going to use. So there you go. In which we are going to use this credential.json name. Okay. So there we are, and let's just check progress. Okay, so quiz authorize. So the network admin role provides permission to. So there are two roles that we talked about: network admin and a security admin. So network admin only lets you list available firewall rules. It won't let you create firewall rules, won't let you delete it, or won't let you modify it or anything. So you can just only list the firewall rules using network admin. Okay. So now we are going to authorize test VM and verify permission. How we're gonna do it is we are going to open this SSH, and in terminal we are going to upload our file, which is credential.json file. So what we are doing here is basically we are let test VM to authorize this service account with the permission that we have given. We have given network admin permission. Okay, so we are using this command gcloud auth. Okay, this is basically activate your service account, or basically lets your test VM use your service account. Okay, and there you go. You have activated your service account. Now let's see if we'll be able to list firewall rules or not. Okay, and we are going to use this gcloud compute firewall rules. Should give us a list. There you go. You have the list. Okay, because you have defined the role network admin, which can only list the firewall rules. Now let's see if you can actually delete it or not. Okay. What do you think? Should it? It won't. It won't, because network admin doesn't have the permission to delete any of the firewall rules. Only security admin could do it. So it won't do it, and we are going to kill the command and how you can do it. So we are going to change the net role here. Okay, or we are going to update the role here. But before we go ahead, the quick quiz is the security admin role provides permission to create it, modify it, and delete it, and also list it. I'm sorry. There you go. So how we gonna change the role that we are already having to service account? You're gonna go into IAM and admin, go to IAM, identity access management. You're gonna find your network admin service account. Once you find it, okay, this is our account, and this is complete network admin that we have assigned to it. you're gonna click on edit principal. Okay. So because we want to delete it, we are going to use security admin role. Again, it would be under your compute engine. Yeah, in the computer engine, you find computer security. And there you go, compute security admin. You're gonna save it. All right. Let's again go here. Before I go ahead, sometimes it doesn't just show whatever changes you've done it. So you can exit it and open it again. Okay. So I'm gonna open my virtual machine instance. Okay, that you're gonna do it from computer engines to VM instances. Go to your test VM instance and go to SSH. Okay, and now let's see. You're gonna definitely list the rules because you have security admin. But now let's see if you can delete the rule, like delete the firewall rules. Let's set it. And yes, I wanna delete it. Let's wait if it can delete it. There you go. It deleted it. So now let's verify if we have this rule deleted, we won't be able to send any data to a blue server externally because we weren't able to send any data to green server. But let's see if we can now send data to blue server. And how we gonna do it? Curl and copy your blue server external IP address. Okay. They shouldn't work. Okay. Yeah. All right. It won't work. So it's taking time. So it basically, if it takes time, it shouldn't work. It just give you output directly. So we are going to kill this command and Control C. And that's all. So what we did for this, like we initially create two server with the Nginx servers. Again, you can create any server. It really depends on your requirement. Once we have created servers, we created firewall rules. Then we tried to send data to external IP address and internal IP address to see how servers work with the firewall rules and without firewall rules. Then we explored some roles like network admin roles and security admin roles with the permissions and all. And then finally, we created service account and we worked with deleted the firewalls as well. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. And once you are done, I think you'll earn this badge as well. That's all. And I'll pass it to Alexander. Thank you.
Cool. Perfect. That was great, Kenna. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was a great overview. So just submit your questions via chat and we'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, just we encourage you to complete as many labs as you can and complete as many sections as you can, because when you complete the whole section, you will get a badge, and the more badges you get, the more chances you have to win a prize from GDSC. So yeah, that's about it. I'm not sure if Madhusha, you have anything to add?
Nope. I think we're good to wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for Ilya and Roger. I think special thanks for both our guest speakers today. And I'm going to highlight what we're going to do tomorrow. Go back to cloudcoach.dev and let me put that link back again. I'm going to put two links. You want to get access to 30 days of quick labs to do anything, just hit this link, click start lab, complete that lab. and it'll automatically give you a subscription for 30 days. Now you can go complete any other quests out there and earn as many badges as you can. And then the other reason we do this is to push you towards certification. So you can get, once you know your stuff, you can go get for the certification test and get GCP certified. So then companies like Focus 21 who came a little earlier, and maybe they can, maybe they might be looking for some developers with GCP experience, who knows? Yeah, so that being said, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for Kenna for the lab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight what we're going to be doing tomorrow, and we're going to wrap this up.
Perfect.
Have a good night.
Cool. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
The certification tests really ask you to take a broad overview of the platform and understand how the pieces and the capabilities provided on the platform can be used to fit together in order to deliver a solution for a customer.
Certification proves that an engineer not only has that real-world experience, but also has the technical knowledge to be able to be certified and to operate at the level that is required.
What certification offers that experience doesn't is peace of mind. I'm not only talking about self-confidence, but also for our customers. Having us certified working on their projects really gives them peace of mind that they're working with a partner who really knows what they're doing.
Hi, welcome to You Have Data, but what are you going to do with it? I'm Evan, a technical curriculum developer here at Google. And in this module, you learn how you can gain insight through data using managed big data services. So far in this Google Cloud course, you've discussed what cloud computing is, the Google Cloud Platform, and using GCP to build apps. You then explored storage options, the role of APIs, cloud security, networking, and the role GCP can play in automating the creation and management of your GCP resources. In this module, you look at some of the managed services that Google offers to process your big data. The objective of this module is for you to discover a variety of managed big data services in the cloud. The specific learning objectives to achieve this include you being able to discuss big data managed services available in the cloud, describe the use of Cloud Dataproc to run Spark, Hive, Pig, and MapReduce as a managed service, explain the building of extract, transform, and load pipelines using Cloud Dataflow, and discuss BigQuery as a managed data warehouse and analytics engine. This agenda shows the topics that make up the module. The module starts with an introduction to big data managed services in the cloud, before moving on to how big data operations can be leveraged through Cloud Dataproc. You'll then complete 2 labs where you use the GCP console and then the gcloud command line tool to create a Cloud Dataproc cluster and perform various tasks. After the labs, you'll explore the use of Cloud Dataflow to perform extract, transform, and load operations. The next 2 labs provide an opportunity to learn more about Cloud Dataflow. In the first, you'll create a streaming pipeline using a Cloud Dataflow template. And in the second, you'll set up a Python development environment, get the Cloud Dataflow SDK for Python, and run an example pipeline using the GCP console. In the final topic, you learn about the role of BigQuery as a data warehouse. You'll complete the module with a short quiz and a review of the main learning points of the module.